Hey guys, remember to like, comment, and subscribe to get a great discussion on gaming and all that surrounded. Now, on to today's topic. The big rumor that's going around, and that's fairly intriguing on the internet now, is Nintendo is trying to revive a long dead IP. So this rumor kind of started with Kind of Funny Games' interview with the senior editor of Game Informer. They were or rather, he was his quote, and the thing that everyone's kind of running with now is that he said that Nintendo is reviving a long dead IP, and he's rather confident about that. Now, the best, I guess, the that's the exciting part, but that's the only fact that we have now. We don't know what game that is. We don't know what form it will take. We don't know really any specifics. So we're kind of left to talk about what that could be, and that's the interesting part, you know. So with that, the discussion has kind of went from, you know, what game could Nintendo bring back, because they have a huge backlog of games. Um, if you guys have seen RGT's video on it, he was basically discussing, you know, Wave Race. Geez, what's that game? Not Star Ocean. The old RPG from the NES days that Nintendo had. There's a lot of them. You know, there's a lot of games that they could bring back, and that in itself is kind of exciting. You know, and that's good news that they're trying to bring an old IP back, because that means that they're not focusing on something that's rather casual, because they kind of done everything casual now. Unless this is Wii Sports or something like that, but I highly doubt that. Because of this, you know, everyone's pretty excited about that. And, you know, that includes me. And I personally hope is going to be not Fire Emblem, Golden Sun, because we haven't seen that in a long time. If you guys have been on my channel or seen some of my videos, my older videos, I played Golden Sun for a little bit, and it's a fun game to play. Now, that game has been kind of dead for a while, and judging by his wording, I kind of feel like it's going to be something a little bit older than that. There's no point in guessing. We can all try and guess whichever, but because, you know, I feel like this kind of discussion comes up every once in a while. Nintendo bringing back something. We all want F-Zero. That's another one that we want. Maybe Eternal Darkness, something. You know, we want something, and I think that it's going to be a Nintendo-owned property. But the discussion has swayed over to something else, and that is fans think that it could be Scalebound, the game that Platinum was working on just a couple years ago with Microsoft's under Microsoft. And that raises a pretty interesting point. You know, Nintendo has in the past gone back and taken IPs that just fell through and used that for their own purposes. So it's likely Platinum, they done it before with Bayonetta. As you guys know, it's the famous one. You know, Bayonetta did pretty well beforehand. The first one, it was okay, and when it came to Nintendo, it was a big deal. So I think this is a good guess, and I believe in the Game Informer article, they were talking about how they wanted the game to be Scalebound. And I'm just thinking about the legal process of that, because I think it's owned by Microsoft. They have that. They own it. They canceled it, but they own it. So that's going to be a hard one to go through. I know a couple people wanted Banjo 3. But, you know, personally, I think Scalebound is going to be a pretty would be a pretty nice one. If you guys have seen RGT's video, he's talking about Mega Man Legends, and I think that's a really good one to bring back too. I mean, Nintendo's relationship with a lot of third parties have been pretty good these past few years, especially with the Switch. So that just means that there's more choices available, or there's better chance for other games that's not Nintendo owned to be brought back and be published by them. And we can only hope that they do really well and that continues, and Nintendo does other things. So I think that the Scalebound one's a pretty good one. Mega Man Legends, that's a pretty good guess too. I'm hoping for something more on the lines of F-Zero. I mean, we all really want F-Zero, 1080, the 1080 series. The snowboarding games that Nintendo's made before. Some people are talking about Metroid Prime, and I'm just like, I feel like that's a little too obvious, and I just don't think it. I don't think that's the one. I mean, they've already talked about them. Nintendo's already elaborated that they're working on Metroid Prime 4, and they're doing different things with Metroid Prime. I think this Metroid Prime trilogy is already a given, so I don't think that's that. So I don't know. It's got to be something else, and I hope it does really well. I think we need more, not necessarily RPGs, but we need something. We need, a new series, like a new series for Nintendo to latch onto and to make money off of, just to spice things up. They've been, Astral Chain looks really good from Platinum. What is it? Fire Emblem Three Houses looks really good, but Fire Emblem has always looked good. It's done pretty well for them. Pokemon obviously makes a lot of money, and Zelda is doing pretty good too. So, I think, adding another series wouldn't be a bad idea. Nintendo is pretty open to doing new things, as shown with the Yoshi game coming out. The demo looked good, but it looks like a really good game. But the major thing to take from that is that they're using Unreal Engine 4, and that's a rather new engine, and the Switch can handle it, and it looks really good. So I think Nintendo is pretty up to doing different things and whatnot. Also, if anyone's wondering, I also don't think this is Luigi's Mansion, because they've already announced that one. So I think this is a really interesting topic to talk about. I can't wait to see how this shapes up. I think another thing to watch out for, lastly, would be to see which company, because if it's not Platinum, because Nintendo's worked with Platinum for a good while now, they've had a really good relationship. If it's not Platinum, I'm really interested to see who they could be working with to make this new game, if it is a third party, because Nintendo's third party relationship has been really good, and I kind of want to see who else they work with. Nintendo has stated in the past that they are going to need help in making games, and really in short, the only way to really go forward is to have all these different third-party developers do different things for them. That's not a bad thing at all. That's just them making more games for the consumer. But I'm just interested who next they could go to. So that I'm gonna call it the end of the video. I'm really interested to see how this shapes out. I feel like there's going to be a lot of discussion over this for the next few weeks, maybe months, leading up to E3. It's almost the end of February. So thank you guys for listening. Have a great day. Bye.